What's good, beautiful people? How y'all doing? Hey, y'all know me, Hassan. So today starts a new journey and a new chapter in the lives of most of us. But for me, I am going to be doing these daily videos, talking about a myriad of topics. Um, on everything that's involving me in my life. Because I can't speak about nobody else's. So, sometimes it may get controversial. Sometimes it may be funny. Sometimes it may just be some trivial surface level stuff. But what I am working on as a part of me, because I am an extremely private person, so most people know me from being out and about, but I do want to share a little bit of me with the world. So, I'm looking forward to doing this, and, let's get started. By the way, Happy New Year to everybody. So, first and foremost, one of the things I want to talk about is, uh, you know, understanding who you are, and sometimes when you bring other people in your life, uh, dealing with that dynamic and trying to understand how to better navigate through your struggles. Sometimes it can be something as communication, and communication styles matter, right? And I believe it's beholden to both parties to learn and to recognize who each other are, and how they speak. And sometimes there's a communication, a language that they speak that you have to learn to understand. Some people may say certain words that might mean this thing definitively. And mind you, I know sometimes it's tough to decipher, but that could come from a myriad of things in their life. We don't know how they grew up. We don't know what kind of traumas they might have dealt with. We don't know, if they might have had some issues with expression or how they're just trying to play the middle without being offensive, or they just may be hardcore offensive and don't give a fuck, at the end of the day. Some people have a linear way of speaking, whereas it's just like, this is this, and that's that. Whereas some people may have a circular way of thinking where they be like, well, these things all contributed to that. So, I know sometimes people want to just focus on a certain topic, but I'm always like, well, how did we get here? How did we get here? We can't be dismissive of all of the things around there. And sometimes, misinterpretation can happen. And when misinterpretation happens, how do we deal with that? Are we going to make ourselves open and available to say, hey, you know what? Let me take a step back and try to hear this. Like, I know for me, I am sometimes in conversation, I don't really like to talk to people. I know this may be shocking to a lot of you, but if you ever been on the phone with me, trust and believe, if you're on the phone with me for 5 minutes, that is a long conversation. Even in public, if you see me talking to somebody for a good amount of time, there must be some kind of a connection that we might have met on and we can actually talk about. And really, it might be something as trivial as comic books and comic book movies, because those are the things that I'm into. But when we try to make small talk, I found myself to be not very good at that. So yeah, I know I have my struggles with communication, and especially when emotion is involved. If you're my partner, and I'm trying to communicate with you, and there are certain things that I hate about communication. Like, one of the things that I hate is being questioned nonstop. Like, if I tell you something and you question me and I answer that question, then when that thing is answered, you start asking me a question about the thing that I answered, and then the thing that I answered, I don't want to talk to you no more. Like, I don't have that level of patience. I just, I'm not a very detailed person in my life. you know. And I know for some people that might be hard to hear because they're like, yo, you're a chef, you got to be detailed. When it comes to food, oh yeah, I follow the detail, but this is also why I'm not a very good baker, because baking requires detail and specifics. But I am working on becoming a better baker, and that's not just in the kitchen, but also in life. So, you know, I turned 54 years old in 8 days, and you never stop learning, you never stop growing. I do know where I fall short at. I do understand where I get frustrated at. Um, there are certain things that I know I need to let go of, There's some things that I'm holding on to, and I think we're all guilty of that. But I do look at this year as an explosive growth period. And by the way, as of today, I'm inviting everyone who knows me, who I'm cool with, who I've interacted with, to my 55th birthday party next year. Okay? All right, on January 9th of 2026, I'll be turning 55, so everybody's invited. But yeah, so, you know, I know sometimes we can get caught up with how we think and how we move about certain things, but we can also offer ourselves and other people grace. But I do understand that sometimes offering too much grace can be overwhelming. And somebody was like, well, what's too much grace? Well, when you're continually trying to make amends with somebody over how they may communicate with you and how they may think and so forth and so on. And it's not your job to change how anyone thinks. It is your job to figure out whether or not it's something that you want to be bothered with at all. And in that, I'm really working through certain things and people in my life who I'm just like, okay, are these some of the challenges that I want to continue to face? Or do I need to move on and figure out what kind of person or people that I want to be around and communicate with? And one of the great things about you guys who do know me understand that I am the vice president of a men's organization called the 41 Gentlemen's Association. And one of the things is that as men, when it comes to men kind of understand how to communicate with one another. But one of the things I do love is that we have men of all walks of life in there, gay, straight, young, old. And what's so beautiful is the perspective that we offer each other, even if we disagree. And there's always some point of view that has, I know in a lot of cases, a lot of point of views that I don't necessarily always see. And I'm happy to have witnessed that. So now I can say, oh, you know what? This is a new way to look at something. But, I do want my year 2025 to be rife with setting new boundaries and goals, and advancing my communication. So, a lot of that will become due to reading, just sitting back and learning to be a little bit more transparent and vulnerable, but also vetting those who I'm transparent and vulnerable with. I think that's the thing that a lot of people have to fight with, because if you're too vulnerable and transparent with everybody, some people could use that vulnerability against you. And sometimes being transparent, you don't know what somebody might have up their sleeve. So, just kind of got to vet people better. Yes, no, I'm not the most trusting individual. So I'm sharing with you right now. But yeah, so, it's just something, that I was just thinking about it and just wanted to share with you guys. I know this is my first video. It is going on 9 minutes. I don't really want these to be that long. But if you find yourself in a space where you can take the time out to listen to the whole thing and comment, I'm up for it. All right? Again, Chef Hassan, Rhythm and Food, the Drive-By Bistro, the Palette Program, and the Walking Taqueria, and 41 Gentlemen's Association. And I'm out. Peace.